पूरा छोड़ दिया। नरेश प्रभु का
हरे कृष्णा प्रभु जी, धन्यवाद, प्रणाम, जय श्री प्रभुपाद।
I agree. माता धन्यवाद प्रणाम जय श्रीला प्रभुपाद। We can begin now. Om Agyantimirandhasya Jnananjana Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sarvajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitam Sha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchan Aurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhudya Eva Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukham karoti vachalam pangum langayate girim Yatkripa tamaham bande Shri Gurun Dinatarinam परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्येश्वरं नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्ता स्वामिन् इति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे Today we will be reviewing the seventh chapter of first canto. Name of chapter is The Son of Drona Punished. Previous chapter we saw the last second half of Narad Muni's life, where begins with Vyasadeva asking Narad Muni after Bhaktivedanta's left, what did you do? Then Narad Muni mentions about um, his travel, his experiencing the Lord, then the Lord disappearing, then the Lord instructions to Narad Muni, and then then Narad Muni didn't see the Lord again, and how he, when he ended his life, he just like lightning and sound occur simultaneously. He gave up this body and he accepted another body. Then it was the end of the Kalpa, so he entered into body of Mahavishnu, and then he became the son of Brahma. And now he's standing giving instructions to Vyasadeva. So Vyasadeva now Sutta Goswami, now again back to the conversation between Sutta Goswami, Nemesharanya, and Sonak Rishi. So Sonak Rishi now asked, now Narad Muni has left. So what did Vyasadeva do after the departure of Narad Muni? Then Sutta Goswami describes Vyasadeva now sat on the western bank of Mother Saraswati. And then he took some water for purification. Like it's called Achman. It is described how the water is a purifying agent. That's why before we do deity worship or yagyas, anything, we do Achman, where we sip water accompanied by mantras. So before Vyasadeva sat in meditation on the Lord, he purified himself through the process of Achman. And then he sat in his hermitage, in his cottage, and then he started meditating. And because he had the grade of grace of his guru also, when he started meditating, in his meditation, he could see Krishna. Narad Muni also told Vyasadeva that you are perfectly qualified because you are empowered by the Lord. You are a literary incarnation. You are empowered. So everything will be revealed to you in your contemplation. And Vyasadeva, when he sat, he could see the Lord, and then he saw that behind the Lord was Maya. He saw Krishna and he saw Maya side by side in his meditation. And he also saw how the living entities are under the grip of Maya. And the living entities, they they have forgotten their relationship with the Lord, and they have assumed false identities as somebody who belonged to this world, as a doctor, as an engineer, as a father, as a mother, as a husband, as a wife, as a relative, as a brother, as a son, as a daughter, and everyone is identifying themselves with something. And they are running behind the desires, which is also given by Maya. The desires are also product of the three modes. Either our desire is in mode of goodness or mode of passion, mode of ignorance. So how the living entity is completely forgetful of who he actually is and is under the grip of the shadow or the external energy of the Lord. And Vyasadeva also saw that how some of the living entities under the grip of Maya, who were, and first Vyasadeva saw that how the living entities were suffering under the grip of the illusory energy. And then Vyasadeva saw how those who are rendering devotional service to the Lord are um, mm, can overcome the suffering and were satisfied and were coming out of the grip of Maya. All these things Vyasadeva saw in his meditation. There is Krishna in the front, there is Maya in her back, in the shadow of Krishna. And under her, the whole material universe was working. And everybody was suffering with false identification. And some who were engaged in devotional service were coming out of it. So he saw that how the bhakti yoga can be a mitigating process to mitigate the suffering of a living entity. And in order to give all living entity a chance so they can mitigate their struggle for existence and material existence, then Vyasadeva started compiling Shrimad Bhagavatam. And then this is what Vyasadeva did after. So then Sutta Goswami says, now I've already described about your first question. In the fourth chapter, Sonak Rishi asked many questions. So Sutta Goswami says your first question was the history of Bhagavatam. So here comes the end of history of Bhagavatam. After Narada Muni left, Vyasadeva contemplated. He saw everything. He understood the importance of devotional service as the linking process to Krishna, and so that the living entity can become self-realized, he started compiling Shrimad Bhagavatam. And then Shrimad Bhagavatam was spoken by Vyasadeva to Sukadeva Goswami, his son. So when Sutta Goswami says that, Sanak Rishi interrupts and Sanak Rishi asks Sutta Goswami, he says Sukadeva Goswami was already a self-realized soul. We saw previous fourth chapter mentions when he was walking, he was without clothes. When he saw ladies without clothes, he was unattracted. He did not, he was like completely beyond the material platform. And he was already a liberated sage. So why did Sukadeva Goswami took the trouble to read and understand entire Bhagavatam? First, Vyasadeva wrote Bhagavatam, then he revised it. He reread it, he revised Bhagavatam. And then he spoke that Bhagavatam to Sukadeva Goswami. Then the question asked, why did Sukadeva Goswami, who was already a sage, a muni, why did he took the trouble to read Shrimad Bhagavatam? Then Sutta Goswami says, well, there's this very famous verse. It's called Atma Rama verse. Atma Rama cha munayo nigranthas. It says, whether one is Atma Rama, whether one is Muni, whether one is Nigrantha, means Nigrantha means one who is free from karma bandhana. Muni are sages. Atma Rama, those who are self-satisfied or self-realized. It says Shrimad Bhagavatam is relishable to all kind of people, especially to liberated souls. We see that example that when Sukadeva Goswami was walking, he was not attracted to anything in this world. And when couple of saints were sitting under a tree and reciting Bhagavatam, Sukadeva Goswami was attracted. Sukadeva Goswami was like, wow, what is this? So Shrimad Bhagavatam subject matter are attractive to those, or they are relished by those who are free from all vices. We see that Sonak Rishi and all the sages, they tell Sutta Goswami that please describe Shrimad Bhagavatam. And he says, you can perfectly describe Shrimad Bhagavatam because you are free from all vices. So those who are pure-hearted actually can relish Shrimad Bhagavatam. Those who are not pure-hearted, Shrimad Bhagavatam will purify them. And that's what Vyasadeva saw, that by reading the Shrimad Bhagavatam, people will overcome the effect of the illusory energy and will understand and establish one's relationship with Krishna, which is our constitutional position. In the beginning, first chapter, Vyasadeva also, the um, it is said, Bhagavatam itself says that Srimad Bhagavatam is sufficient for self-realization. So what is the need of any other scripture? Bhagavatam is sufficient. And we see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, I mean, he is Shri Krishna Chaitanya Radha Krishna Nahi, he is himself the combined form of Radha and Krishna, and he would take great pleasure in reading Shrimad Bhagavatam. So Shrimad Bhagavatam is relished by those who are self-realized. Shrimad Bhagavatam is attractive for everyone. Shrimad Bhagavatam is attractive for conditioned souls like some of us, and Shrimad Bhagavatam is attracted by liberated souls also. But the way they relish and what they realize, we cannot relish and realize in the same way, but we still get a slight experience of that. So after describing this history of Bhagavatam and how it came to Sukadeva Goswami and why Sukadeva Goswami heard it, because he was very much attracted, one naturally does what one is attracted to. Natural. We may have some pleasurable experiences, and the living entity or a conditioned soul tries to again and again engage himself or herself in those pleasurable experiences, but they bind the living entity in this material world. But Sukadeva Goswami pleasurable experiences were hearing Bhagavatam from those two saints under a tree. And that's why when he heard more from Vyasadeva, he was so overwhelmed and satisfied that he just kept on hearing. We saw that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also, when he would read Shrimad Bhagavatam, he would say, go on reciting, go on reciting, go on reciting. And when they would read the whole Prahlad pastime again, then Mahaprabhu says, yeah, recite once again. Again, they will recite Prahlad story, and Mahaprabhu will be like, recite once again. And then 100 times Mahaprabhu heard in the same day entire story of Prahlad Maharaj. So that shows how much relishable is the Srimad Bhagavatam by self-realized souls. Vyasadeva also says by giving oral reception to this Bhagavatam, just by listening to this Bhagavatam, the loving feelings for Lord Krishna will automatically arise. And as we become more and more attached to Krishna naturally, then only we can give up the lower taste. And then another question asked by, in the 4th chapter, one question was history of Bhagavatam, which is finished now. Then Sutta Goswami says, now I will come to you another question. And another question asked was, tell us about the birth of Maharaj Parikshit. Because when Sutta Goswami was describing, so Vyasadeva wrote Bhagavatam after meeting Narad Muni. Then Vyasadeva spoke it to Sukadeva Goswami. Then Sukadeva Goswami gave it to Maharaj Parikshit. Then one other question asked was, who is Sukadeva Goswami? Who is Vyasadeva? Why did Vyasadeva, in what condition did Vyasadeva wrote Shrimad Bhagavatam? Then why Parikshit Maharaj, who was a king, he was very bona fide and he was keeping everything in control. Why did he, being so successful, also give up the kingdom? What forced him to give up the kingdom and then sit on the bank of Yamuna or bank of Ganga to hear Srimad Bhagavatam? What made that happen? Tell us about the birth and activities of Maharaj Parikshit, which is all glorious. Now, to describe that, this second question, now the next story begins, which we will discuss today. Is this is a time 5,000 years back, after the Mahabharata war was over. Duryodhan was lying with his thighs broken by Bhima, and Duryodhana was in great suffering. Then Ashwadhama was a servant of Duryodhana. In order to please his master Duryodhana, he went to the camp of Pandavas and he killed the 5 sons of Draupadi. Draupadi had 5 husbands, and of the Pandavas, 5 brothers, and to each brother she got 1 son. So there were 5 sons of Draupadi. And when they were sleeping in the camp, uh, Ashwadhama went after the fight was over. Ashwadhama went and he cut off their heads and he took the heads in a bag with blood oozing out from them, and he brought the head and he presented them to Duryodhana. Ashwadhama. Ashwadhama said, I have cut off these heads for your pleasure. Please accept them. Duryodhan was very much disgusted when he saw the cut off head. Even so, Bhagavatam says that he was trying to please his master. Even the master was not pleased. The act was very heinous. Naturally, when Draupadi and Pandavas they got up in the morning, Draupadi was overwhelmed with tears, crying, wailing, seeing the condition situation of what happened. Pandavas ran, they came. Kunti Devi came, and Draupadi was in a very disheveled state. Arjuna, seeing the crying of Draupadi, became very angry. Arjuna said, I will not use my hands to wipe your tears. I will wipe your tears now. I will wipe your tears only after I behead the son of a Brahmana who has done this heinous act. And after standing on his beheaded head, you take your shower. Then only you take your shower. And after giving this promise to Draupadi, Arjuna with Krishna, they both went to search for Ashwadhama, and they started going to the other camp. So this is like during the Mahabharat war, there were 2 camps where they would like the Mahabharat would happen, the fight would happen from morning till evening, from sunrise to sunset, and then everybody will go back to their camp. Then whatever they would eat, their sleep, their discussion, their planning for next day. So everything. So there was a huge setup. We see previously this was common. They would go like now also in US people go for camping. So that's how they would do. Even we see when Krishna also, yesterday we were discussing when Krishna also came to Kurukshetra, when Krishna met with the residents of Vrindavan, again back in Kurukshetra, then Krishna had a camp where all the Dwarkavasis were living. Nanda Baba and they all came and they made their own camp. So they would go, they would travel and they would make their camps. So during this Mahabharat war, these 2 camps were there. And like it's like today only Duryodhan thighs were broken, and right after that, in order to please Ashwadhama went. Now Mahabharat war is over, so they have to kind of the next day morning they need to unsettle their camp and go back to Hastinapur. All of them, whoever is remaining, fight is over. But same night he came and he killed. This is also like first of all, if you the proper rules of fighting is you should protect old people, children, women, deceased. All these personalities needs to be protected. And then among others also, the fight should be in the front. There are many rules of fighting, but he went in the night, killed the children when they were sleeping. So it's like none of the rules were considered. So Krishna and Arjuna they went to the camp of Duryodhana, where Duryodhana was also lying. Ashwadhama was in fear. He knew what he has done. Among the Kaurava side, not many were alive. Hardly 4 or 5 were alive. Everybody was dead. And they could understand this is the act of the heinous Ashwadhama. Only he could do such an act. So when from this camp, there was Krishna was riding the chariot and Arjuna was sitting. When Ashwadhama saw, he became filled with fear. He took his chariot, started running away. Then Krishna ran faster to catch Ashwadhama, and they ran for a long distance. Then Ashwadhama's horses became tired, exhausted. So they took rest. As after a certain point of time, the chariot won't go further. They started drinking water. Then Ashwadhama became filled with fear that what do I do now? Krishna and Arjuna were approaching fast. So in order to not finding any solution, Ashwadhama released Brahmastra. Brahmastra is meant to kill the entire Earth planet only. But he made that choice because he felt life is over. So nothing could come in his mind. And this weapon, nobody can survive. Although he knew with this Brahmastra, he also will be annihilated in a way. Very powerful weapon. But he just released Brahmastra. And the whole environment was filled with glaring effulgence. When Krishna and Arjuna were approaching fast, they saw this glaring effulgence. Arjuna became filled with fear. And Arjuna started praying to Krishna, taking shelter of Krishna. Arjuna said, Krishna, you are the supreme person, the supreme personality of Godhead, knower of everything. You are the one who removed fear from your devotees and the protector of your devotees. The external energy and the three modes work under your direction. So beautiful prayers Arjuna offered glorified him because Arjuna knew Krishna's supreme personality of Godhead now, because this is after Mahabharat war, and just before Mahabharat war, Krishna saw that Arjuna saw Krishna's universal form and how Krishna's supreme personality of Godhead, everything is under Krishna's control, and Krishna is all-knowing. So he started glorifying how everything emanates from you, the knower of everything, protector of your devotees. My heart is filled with fear and I'm unable to understand this glaring effulgence. Please help me. So then Krishna smiled at Arjuna. Krishna said, Oh Arjuna, this is the Brahmastra released by Ashwatthama. And this Brahmana Bandhu, Brahmana Bandhu means friend of a Brahmana. Krishna does not call Ashwatthama as a Brahmana because his activities disqualifies him to be a Brahmana. So he called him friend of a Brahmana because he was son of Dronacharya. So he said, "Oh, this Brahman Bandhu, he has released Brahmastra. He does not know how to retract the Brahmastra, but out of fear he has released. So you can release a Brahmastra. After they both collide, they will become one, and then you know the art of retrieving, so you can retract. This will save the whole Earth planet from destruction." Arjuna, as usual, always surrendered. Prayed. This is also great quality of Dronacharya. Dronacharya was the son of Ashwadhama. Dronacharya's student was Ashwadhama. Dronacharya's student was also Arjuna. Father, knowing that Arjuna is qualified, he taught him how to release Brahmastra, how to retract. But father did not teach Ashwadhama. It's like that Dronacharya was very qualified Brahmana. And Arjuna had so much love for Dronacharya that Arjuna also says in the beginning of Bhagavad Gita, how can I counteract or counterattack the superiors who are my worshipable like Bhishma Dev and my teachers like Dronacharya. Another very nice point that comes here is Ashwadhama was filled with fear when he saw Krishna and Arjuna and he released Brahmastra. Arjuna was filled with fear when he saw the glaring effulgence. He could not understand where it's coming from and he took shelter of Krishna. So that's a difference between a devotee and a non-devotee. When a non-devotee becomes filled with fear, he takes some action in his best interest. But when a devotee is filled with fear, he takes shelter of Krishna, and by turning towards Krishna, he can overcome fear. it is said that it is nice to, like, although we may want to know everything about the future of our life, our plans, but it is nice to just don't worry about it and depend on Krishna. What is going to happen next? Because the nature of this world is I mean, some people realize it, some people don't realize it, but the word is very scary. Um, and sometimes the word seems like the end of everything. Um, like um, there is one family. Um, Unfortunately, the husband left the body due to some circumstances. The wife, they have two children. The wife went through um, um, 1 2 years, lot of struggle, uh, understandably. And then she called one day and she said, "I'm not able to connect with my daughter. I don't know what's the future. All the wealth that the house we bought and all the wealth, uh, my in-laws, my husband's father, they took all this away from us. I have no money. I moved to India. I have a job that I'm finding. I just got a job that I'm finding very hard to maintain. Not able to understand how to cope up with this job. I'm feeling helpless, afraid of what is going to happen to me and to my children in the future. Uh, what do I do?" So sometimes the life takes very harsh turn, and sometimes the life seems to be a little smooth, but only for a short period of time. Because nature of the world is temporary by nature. So I was telling this Mataji, um, sometimes it is good to just for some moment um, surrender. Krishna, I don't know what I'm supposed to do in this situation. I have come to your shelter. I surrender my life to you. I am helpless. Please help me. Um, uh, show me. Show me the direction, how, because life seems like a stop for especially some point of time, if not today, tomorrow, for some today, for some tomorrow. So we see here Arjuna, when he felt everything is over, glaring effulgence, Bhagavatam says his heart was filled with fear. So it's not that devotees don't have fear, but they overcome fear by taking shelter of Krishna. There is a song by Govinda Das. He says, Bhaja Pune Mana Shri Nanda Nandana Abhaya Charanara Vindare. Abhay Charanara Vindare. Whoever takes shelter of the lotus feet of Krishna. O my dear mind, Bhaja Hure Mana. O Mana, O my dear mind. Bhaja, worship. Whom do you worship? Shri Nanda Nandana, the son of Nanda Maharaj. O my dear mind, please worship the son of Nanda Maharaj. In that way, Abhay, you will become free from Bhaya, free from fear. Charanara Vindare. Therefore, please take shelter of my dear mind, of the lotus feet of Lord Krishna. And Krishna always comes to rescue. We invest faith in Krishna. When we invest faith in Krishna, Krishna reciprocates. And when Krishna reciprocates, our investment grows, our faith grows. It begins with our taking a step and investing our faith in Krishna and giving a chance for Krishna to reciprocate, and that reciprocation from Krishna will increase our faith in Him. But those who have full faith, they can directly invest their faith and everything into Krishna because they have already full, the relationship is very deep, very intimate. So they can directly put, but we can try from our side. Arjuna has full faith. He turned to Krishna, Krishna, please help. Krishna give him the answer. Then Arjuna released his Brahmastra, and the two Brahmastra they collided, and it seems like every living entity on the entire Earth planet started scorching by the heat. The Earth was trembling, and then immediately, just before the whole universe was destroyed, Arjuna retracted both the Brahmastra back because he had the art given by his guru Dronacharya. And Arjuna was really angry. I mean, after this, first of all, you killed the five sons, and now this nonsense you are doing to destroy everything. So he immediately bound Ashwadhama like an animal, and he started dragging him with the chariot back to the camp. Krishna wanted to test Arjuna. Krishna said, Arjuna, haven't you promised Draupadi that you will cut off his head? Don't be don't be taken by the concept that he's a Brahmana. He is not a Brahmana. He's a he's a heinous person. He's an aggressor. He has he has broken all the conducts. He should be punished. Kill him immediately. Take his head, fulfill your promise to Draupadi, and let's not take him. Let's take the head back to the camp. This is there are two meanings to it. One meaning is Krishna was testing Arjuna. It is Bhagavatam says very interesting. I mean, Krishna is there, Krishna is speaking. Arjuna, Bhagavatam says Arjuna did not like the idea. When I was reading, I'm like, wow. Krishna is speaking. Krishna is speaking, and Arjuna did not like the idea. So Arjuna neglected Krishna's instruction and he took Ashwadhama to the camp, and Krishna was pleased. So I mean, there are many things that can be discussed from this standpoint. One thing is, Prabhupada says, uh, never lose common sense. Never be a yes man to such an extent that you lose your discrimination power. You always have a discrimination power. Although Krishna was telling, Arjuna could understand, Arjuna was not very convinced. Arjuna told Draupadi, I will cut off his head and bring it to you. You stand on his head and then you take shower. And then only I will wipe your tears. He said that in his extreme emotions for his children and seeing the overwhelming situation of Draupadi. But when when he was bringing Ashwadhama, he didn't like the idea of cutting off his head. And the reason is gratitude for Guru, because his son was his teacher. Um, um, so both principles are correct. Another point also is the aggressor must be killed. Krishna tested Arjuna by how you act when I say, do you do or do you pass the test? Prabhupada says Krishna was testing Arjuna. Another thing also, because he was not killed, Ashwadhama is suffering today also. Actually, it is said that if somebody does a heinous act, if he is punished by the judgment, by the law, by the court, then his suffering is over. But if he somehow, by hook or by crook or some means, he escapes by illegal means, his suffering is prolongated much more. If Ashwadhama was killed right then, game over. Next birth would have been very good. But because he was not killed, he is still alive. And it is said he is one of the Chiranjeev. Chiranjeev means who will stay for the entire Kali Yuga. Basically, for hundreds of thousands of years, he will remain. And throughout, he is suffering intense pain, disease, um, all kind of severe, people, uh, intense suffering in the body, difficult to breathe, body covered with worms, and that kind of intense suffering, and that continues forever. So this is what Ashwadhama is going through now because of what he did 5,000 years back. So one thing because that suffering at the same time was test for Arjuna. So Arjuna took Ashwadhama back, and Arjuna tied him and he threw him at the feet of Draupadi. And here is Ashwadhama lying. There is Draupadi, there is Bhima, there is Yudhishthir, there is Kunti, Nakul, Sahadev, Yudhishthir, Krishna is lying on the floor in front of Draupadi. And Draupadi became angry. Draupadi said, Arjuna, what are you doing? Don't you know he's a Brahmana? Somebody who kills a Brahmana, that fire of killing a Brahmana can burn the entire dynasty. Then Draupadi said, he is a son of your guru. Your guru has whatever you know today is because of your guru. And how can you think of killing the son of your guru? And thirdly, she said, he has a mother Kripi, the wife of Dronacharya. I don't want her to suffer the way I am suffering the loss of my sons. She will suffer the loss of his son Ashwadhama if you kill him. I don't want her to suffer. So these various reasons. One is Kriti, one is Dronacharya, Guru, gratitude, he's a Brahmana. So based on these three reasons, Draupadi said you should not kill Ashwadhama. This is also very interesting. When Arjuna initially said, I will bring his head and you stand, she was pacified. Arjuna was pacified. But when they went there, when he came back, Draupadi, in her intense suffering also, usually when anger overcomes, then we don't consider others. We only want others' destruction when anger comes. But here we also see the pure form of anger. It is said that the anger is there in pure form also, but we say that either anger overtakes us or we have control over anger. So she did not lose her discrimination, although she was overwhelmed with sadness. Prabhupada says there's also a sign of, Prabhupada says two things here. Prabhupada says one is, Prabhupada says this was not very intelligent because he was not a Brahmana. He was Brahmana by birth, but he was not Brahmana by qualities. And the compassion she was showing for Kripi was not a right compassion. Because as per Dharma, the aggressor needs to be killed. Prabhupada says one should know where the compassion needs to be applied. If you leave an aggressor alive, then he is going to create another problem to the society tomorrow. So that compassion was not right. And he did that. We'll see afterwards that he also released another Brahmastra to kill Maharaj Parikshit. So if a person, nature is envious and like demoniac, then it is best that the person be killed. But crying, Prabhupada also says, compassion for the body is ignorance. Prabhupada also says that. And we also hear in Bhagavatam that as soon as one sees snakes and scorpions, they must be killed because they're envious by nature. So envious people, you leave them today, tomorrow, there is a mass murderer. Out of compassion, you say, no, he should not be killed. Then tomorrow he will murder more people. So better you kill him. So Prabhupada says that was not very intelligent. Um, um, but the point that he is son of Dronacharya, yes, valid. So, but still mixed views about Draupadi's reasoning. But Yudhishthira Maharaj supported. This is usually it is said whenever there is a conflict resolution, this chapter, devotees say read this chapter to overcome conflict resolution, conflicts in lives. So Yudhishthira Maharaj supported, Nakul Sahadev supported, Kunti Devi supported. Then Bhima, Arjun was already in their support. That's why he didn't kill earlier also. But Bhima, he was like, Are isko phad do, means just bifurcate him. I mean, Bhima thinks from the perspective of, like power. So like he's just kill him immediately. And Bhima was like, um, um, बोलते नहीं है, वो action लेते हैं. Doesn't speak, he just acts. So he's like this, and he wanted to kill Ashwadhama right away. And Draupadi is like his wife also. So Draupadi is holding him back. No. Why don't you understand? He's He has a mother and he's a Brahmana and he's a son of Dronacharya, your teacher. So she's trying to push Bhima, and Bhima is like, just kill him. So then Krishna manifested his four hands. And because the situation was so intense, then with it is mentioned Krishna became Chaturbhuj, forehand, and he started stopping Draupadi side and Bhima side. And then he said, okay, um, let me take care of the situation. It is also said this is a role of a leader. Krishna was a leader, and people were having opposite views. And how Krishna handled the situation, both were pure devotees. So it is possible for pure devotees also to have difference of opinions. Um, and pure devotees can fight also with difference of opinions. So this is there in Pandavas. And they are pure devotees. All of Bhima is a pure devotee of Krishna. Draupadi is a pure devotee of Krishna. Bhima asked Krishna what to do. Krishna always helps. Draupadi take help from Krishna when she was getting disturbed. Krishna helps. They both are pure devotees of Krishna. So Krishna told Arjuna that Arjuna now, as an aggressor, and because of his heinous act, he should be killed. But because he is son of your Guru Drona, from that perspective, he may be released also. So try to satisfy Draupadi and others, as well as Bhima and myself. So Krishna places himself at the minority side. But Krishna's views, this is correct. He is son of Drona, this is correct. Yet, he is an aggressor. And he cannot be considered a Brahmana. So Krishna still keeps himself on the side of Bhima. So Krishna says, you satisfy Draupadi and others, and you satisfy Bhima and myself. Very interesting. And then Arjuna understood by Krishna given intelligence. And then he cuts off the head of Ashwadhama and he plucked the jewel out of Ashwadhama. And as soon as the Ashwadhama jewel was taken out, Ashwadhama lost all bodily luster. This chapter ends with a quotation that says, a Brahmana, if he performs a heinous act, he should not be killed, but his hair can be taken off. We can cut his hair and we can banish him from the society. So Ashwadhama was banished to suffer, basically. And later on, Krishna says because of his heinous act and not getting a proper punishment, he will have to suffer for till the end of Yuga. Basically, forever, he will have to suffer. So this comes to the end of this chapter, and we will read. Let me share the screen. We will read one verse today in last 5-10 minutes. This is from the beginning. Yasyam vai shruyamanayam Krishne paramapurushe bhaktir utpadyate pumsa shoka moha bhayapaha. Yasyam, this Vedic literature, why certainly shruyamanayam, simply by giving oral reception, Krishna, unto Lord Krishna, Parama, supreme, Purushe, onto the personality of Godhead, Bhakti, feelings of devotional service, Utpadyate, sprout out, Pumsaha, of the living being, Shoka, lamentation, Moha, illusion, Bhaya, fearfulness, Apaha, that which extinguishes. Translation: simply by giving oral reception to this Vedic literature, the feeling for loving devotional service to Lord Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, sprouts at once to extinguishes the fire of lamentation, illusion, fearfulness. So this is Vyasadeva telling anybody who give oral reception to this Bhagavatam, he will immediately develop his attraction for Bhagwan Shri Krishna and the lamentation. Prabhupada says lamentation also comes because of ignorance. Because we lament over something thinking that we could have done something else to change. Or there is a conception of I am the doer in the lamentation. Like this lady who went through a lot of suffering, she was mentioning to me, every day she cursed herself that if she has taken the husband at the right time, he might have been saved. If she wouldn't have come to India, if she would have kept him in US, the doctors there might have saved him. And she was lamenting over her action. So at lamentation, then I told her, Mataji, it was time. No matter what you have done, when it's time, it's time. So lamentation also comes from the principle that I am the doer, or I could have changed something if I have done something some other ways. Then illusion is Maya is very strong, and when she captures us, the whole philosophy of Krishna consciousness goes away from us, and we become absorbed in temporary. We become absorbed in sensory pleasures. Um, so creates a illusion, and we forget ourselves, and then we are in a strong hurt to enjoy this material world. This power of illusion. Very, very strong. Lamentation, illusion, fearfulness. There is always fear of unknown, fear of future. Here, some other time we talk about fear of children, fear of financial status, children's education. Many things are driven in this world by fear, fear of prestige, fear of losing our, like fear of being disrespected, fear of not being able to perform well. So this word is full of fear. But anybody who gives oral reception to this Shrimad Bhagavatam, he can immediately arouse his love for Krishna and become free from lamentation, from illusion, and from fear. Great benediction for Bhagavatam. There are various senses of which the ear is most effective. This sense works even when a man is deep asleep. Even if somebody is sleeping, alarm wakes us up. So all the other senses are sleeping, but ear is still awake. One can protect himself from the hands of an enemy while awake, but while asleep, one is protected by the ear only. If some attack comes, then by the sound one wakes up. Oh, there is some attack. The importance of hearing is mentioned here in connection with attaining the highest perfection of life, namely getting free from the three material pangs. Everyone is full of lamentation every moment. He is after the mirage of illusory things, and he is always afraid of his supposed enemy, afraid of something. He is after the illusion, mirage of illusory things. Something will give me pleasure and becoming absorbed, driving pleasure from there, which actually leads only to suffering, and full of lamentation over the past. These are the primary symptoms of the material disease, and it is definitely suggested here that simply by hearing the message of Shrimad Bhagavatam, one gets attached to the one gets attachment for the Supreme Personality of Godhead Sri Krishna. And as soon as this is affected, the symptoms of the material disease disappear. Fear will go away. How fear goes away? Krishna is in control. Why fear comes? If I, then. If I, then. When we bring ourselves into the center, fear. But Krishna is the supreme control. Everything is in control. Only that thing will happen that Krishna wants. So I surrender. And whatever happens, Krishna, I'm doing this for your pleasure. And when we become free from the desire for happiness and distress, whatever comes as a result of our action in future, when we become independent of that and we start doing things for the pleasure of Krishna, and we depend on Krishna, not that we depend on Krishna and demanding Krishna, this is what I want from the situation. That's not dependence on Krishna, that's demanding Krishna. But when we actually depend on Krishna and um, then we become fearless. The symptoms of the material disease disappear. Srila Vyasadeva saw the all-perfect personality of Godhead, and in this statement, the all-perfect personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna is clearly confirmed. So here Vyasadeva saw Krishna and the illusory energy and the effect, and that's why he is writing Bhagavatam. So all these things can be eradicated to serve the society. That's why he wrote Shrimad Bhagavatam. The ultimate result of devotional service is to develop genuine love for the Supreme Personality. Love is a word which is often used in relationship with man and woman, and love is the only word that can be properly used to indicate the relationship between Lord Krishna and the living entities. I was reading a letter by Prabhupada, and one person he he was married, and then he had an extramarital affair, and then he was lamenting. So he sent a letter to Prabhupada that Prabhupada, in my service, I fell in love with this other girl. And Prabhupada replied, Prabhupada said, I mean, these are all the issues Prabhupada had to deal with because of the Western society. Prabhupada said, first of all, the word love is used only in relationship with Lord and the living entities. In this material world, mainly the lust is prominent. So Prabhupada first cut him off, thinking that, don't think you fell in love, it was just lust only. And then he gave him some suggestions of what to do. He said, if a respectable man in society does like this, especially who is practicing Krishna consciousness, then our movement will be in great danger. Um, and then Prabhupada says, you know, it's a great offense. Whatever has happened. But pray for the mercy of Lord Krishna and never do it again. So that's how Prabhupada was dealing with all the situations. So love is the word. Love is the only word that can properly used to indicate between the relationship between Lord Krishna and living entities. So lust is for the material, but love is for Krishna. And we overcome lust to this material. The desire to enjoy this material world is lust. And that is overcome by developing our love for Krishna. And this Bhagavatam says, by giving oral reception to this Bhagavatam, that love will arise. And when love arises, then the illusion will disappear. Only because of illusion do we have a desire to enjoy this material world. Because we think I'm this body and I'm the enjoyer and this world is object of my enjoyment. So let me go and enjoy this world. And the source of this is illusion, lust and illusion. And they both will disappear. Love will arise, lust will go away, illusion will disappear. The living entities, the living entities are mentioned as Prakriti in Bhagavad Gita, and the Sanskrit Prakriti is feminine object. So all living entities are Prakriti. Prakriti means to be enjoyed. We are all meant to be enjoyed by Krishna. We are all meant to give pleasure to Krishna. And when we do activities with the intention to give pleasure to Krishna, we'll be satisfied. But when we act out of envy or as an enjoyer, which we are quite conditioned to act anyways, but when we act out of the lower nature, then struggle comes. Living entity are mentioned as Prakriti in Bhagavad Gita, and in Sanskrit, Prakriti is feminine object. The Lord is always described as the Parama Purusha, or the Supreme. Purusha means male, Purusha means enjoyer. Parama Purusha, or the Supreme Male Personality, or the Supreme Enjoyer. Thus, the affection between the Lord and living entities is something like that between the male and female. Because we are Prakriti, he is Purusha. Independent of our male bodies or female bodies, which is just temporary, we are all meant to serve Krishna, meant to give pleasure to Krishna. And that's why it is said that we are not Krishna is independent enjoyer, we are dependent enjoyer. When we think of Krishna, when we try to serve Krishna, we enjoy. When we chant the names of Krishna in the right mood, we enjoy. So we enjoy rendering service to Krishna. Krishna is independent enjoyer, Parama Purusha. Therefore, the term love of Godhead is quite appropriate. Loving devotional service to the Lord begins with hearing about the Lord. There is no difference between the Lord and the subject matter heard about him. So Krishna and Krishna's name, Krishna's form, Krishna's qualities, Krishna's pastimes, everything is not different from Krishna. That is a difference. That is why we say Krishna is absolute. Absolute means is complete. Today we were listening to a very wonderful Bhagavatam class by Shubhilas Prabhu, and Prabhuji was mentioning how every verse of Bhagavatam is also complete. Complete means whatever is the essence of Bhagavatam is the essence of every verse of Bhagavatam also. One person asked this question, I'm only on second chapter of Bhagavatam. I want to finish. If I finish one canto in a year, one book in a year, 18 books, it will take me 18 years. That's forever. So, what should be my approach in deciding Shrimad Bhagavatam? Prabhu was mentioning Bhagavatam is complete. Just like Krishna is complete, Krishna's emanations are complete, Krishna's creation is complete, the scriptures are complete. So, Bhagavatam, every verse will give you the essence of Bhagavatam. It doesn't matter whether you finish or not, but he says just if you read a verse, try to absorb in that one verse, and every verse can give you the essence. That much how glorious is Shrimad Bhagavatam. Therefore, hearing about him means okay, the Lord is absolute in all respect, and thus there is no difference between him and the subject matter heard from him. Anything about him is complete. Therefore, hearing about him means immediate contact with him by the process of vibration of the transcendental sound. When we hear the sound vibration, that is also Krishna. And the transcendental sound is so effective that it acts at once by removing all material affections mentioned above. When we become Krishna centered, material affection will go away. When we are not absorbed in Krishna, then we will become absorbed in material affection. कृष्णा सूर्य समा माया होय अंधकार जहां कृष्णा तहां नहीं माया अधिकार. Krishna Surya Sama, he is like the sun. Maya is like Andhakar. Maya hoy Andhakar. Jahan Krishna taha nahi Maya adhikar. Wherever Krishna is there is no influence of Maya. Wherever sun is there, no darkness. But because of illusion, the sun disappears. And then the night comes. And then the darkness. This is not the night that we see, but the night of ignorance. When Krishna is not there, then there is ignorance or darkness. And all wrong things happen in darkness only. As mentioned above, as mentioned before, and the transcendental sound is so effective that it acts by removing all material affection mentioned above. That's why giving oral reception, submissive and attentive oral reception to Shrimad Bhagavatam, oral reception to Shrimad Bhagavatam. As mentioned before, a living entity develops a sort of complexity by material association. And the illusory engagement of the material body is accepted as an actual fact. Under such false complexity, the living beings under different categories of life become illusion in different ways. Even in the most developed stage of human being, the same illusion prevails in the form of many isms and divides the loving relation with the Lord and thereby divides the loving relation between man and man. By hearing the subject matter of Shrimad Bhagavatam, this false complexity of materialism is removed and real peace in society begins, which politicians aspire for so eagerly in so many political situations. The politicians want a peaceful situation between man and nation, but at the same time, because of too much attachment for material domination, there is illusion and fearfulness. Therefore, the politicians, peace conferences cannot bring about peace in society. It can only be done by hearing the subject matter described in the Srimad Bhagavatam about the Supreme Personality of God, Shri Krishna. The foolish politicians may go on holding peace and summit conferences for hundreds of years, but they will fail to achieve success. Until we reach the stage of re-establishing our lost relationship with Krishna, the illusion of accepting the body as well as the self will prevail. Now also fighting is going on. Israel, Palestine, and so many bombing is going on after so many peace conferences. So this is never sustainable. Until we reach the stage of re-establishing our lost relation with Krishna, the illusion of accepting the body as the self will prevail, and thus fearfulness will also prevail. When we think we are this body, that is the cause of fear. Identification with the body, because the thing is we are not temporary, we are eternal. But identification with the body will make us give us a feeling of temporary, and that will bring fear. As for the validity of Sri Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, there are hundreds and thousands of evidences from divine scriptures. And there are hundreds and thousands of evidences from personal experiences of devotees in various places like Vrindavan, Navadip, and Puri. Even in the Kaumari dictionary, the synonyms of Krishna are given as the son of Yashoda and the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Parabrahman. The conclusion is that simply by hearing the Vedic literature, Shrimad Bhagavatam, one can have direct connection with Supreme Personality of Godhead Shri Krishna, and thereby one can attain the highest perfection of life by transcending worldly miseries, illusion, and fearfulness. These are practical tests that one has actually given a submissive hearing to the readings of Shrimad Bhagavatam. When Maharaj Parikshit heard Shrimad Bhagavatam, he did not have fear of death. He was cursed to die in 7 days. If we are cursed to die in 7 days, we will think, what do? I have only 7 days remaining. Oh, I have 6 days remaining. Where the Takshak bird will come. Who will kill me at what moment? Oh, I cannot sleep in the night because Kamsa was full of fear because, Krishna is his death personified. The sun will come and kill him. So throughout his life, he was fearful. But we don't see Maharaj Parikshit afraid at all because he was absorbed in hearing Shrimad Bhagavatam. So it's not theoretical, it's practically shown by example also. And Prabhupada said these are practical tests for one who has actually given a submissive hearing to the reading of Shrimad Bhagavatam. If after reading Shrimad Bhagavatam, illusion remains, lamentation remains, fear remains, so Prabhupada said that's a sign that we have not submissively heard it. But this itself is a solution. All right, so that's all for today. If there are any questions or discussions, we can see now.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat Pranam, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, with respect to the sadhana, which wherever I am, in whatever stage I am, like when I hear to the lectures, which are very deep and high, of very high quality in Bhagavatam only, like Dhruva's pastimes or Prahlad Maharaj pastimes, and also like Krishna's Navanita Chauryam and all. When we hear from the pure devotees, the message delivered is very pure and very high. But I am definitely not in any stage near to that. Sometimes it brings a feeling of guiltiness. So, am I really qualified to hear this? I get such kind of thoughts then and there, Prabhuji. Is there any tips like what can I expect at this level?
You mean you get a thought, am I really qualified to hear Bhagavatam?
Yeah, because practically I have no transformation of heart. It's very rigid at this stage. Even though I practice but for example, when I hear Dhruva Maharaj pastime, even though the thought of getting into the meditation stage, whichever situation provoked for Dhruva Maharaj, it seems to be material, but very soon he transformed himself, like in a very short period. He was able to get the darshan of Lord and all, and his practices were very severe and strict. But I'm not at that stage, right? So I'm not saying that I don't feel like hearing them, but am I the right person to hear that? There is a feel of guilt there.
Well, I think no need of feeling of guilt because we are all in a journey towards self-purification and God realization. We may be far, we may be close. One time a devotee mentioned Braj Bihari Prabhu. He says, the path of Krishna consciousness also very shaven. So we are not so much worried about when will I get to the goal, but we can try to enjoy the path that we are in. Getting up in the morning is relishable, chanting the holy names is relishable, association is relishable, service is relishable, Shravanam is relishable, Kirtanam is relishable. And as we become absorbed more and more in the path of Krishna consciousness, then it doesn't really matter how long it takes, as long as we are on the path. Now, there may be a feeling of, yes, I am very low, but then there are very hopeful verses also that what Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, even one is a low born, a Shudra, Malecha, whoever one is, if one takes shelter of me, one will attain Paramgati, the supreme destination. So we know the path is right. We know we are very far. But then Rupa Goswami says one should be patient. So if we just try to remain sincere, try to remain in Krishna's zone and be patient, then some days are struggle, but some days are good also, right? Not every day is a struggle. Devotee association helps in all circumstances. I also feel many times that at what pace I'm progressing. But then, if we genuinely feel that our advancement is not happening properly, then the stage comes the stage of crying and begging for the mercy of the Lord. When we realize that time is running, um, I'm not seeing significant progress. And then we realize that my progress is dependent upon mercy of Krishna. And then we start praying and begging for Lord's mercy. Krishna, please show your mercy unto me so I can become free. Prabhupada in one of the purport Prabhupada says, one should pray to Krishna, Krishna, please relieve me from the service of Maya. Please let me not come under the influence of your external energy. We see our acharyas like Narottam Das Thakur, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, they never felt themselves qualified. Rather, they say we are the most unqualified. You are, yesterday we were discussing, they say you are Patita Pavana, fallen off, deliverer of the fallen. And here I am, if you don't deliver me, who is the most fallen? Then why are you called Patita Pavana? Patita Pavana Nam Kishira Lagiya. Why are you called Patita Pavana? So please deliver this soul. And this Narottam Das Thakur speaking. Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, Amara Jivan Sadda Pape Ratan Nahi to Punya Kalesh. That I don't even have a speck of good quality, I am full of pap. And then he's telling, this is my tail in front of you, my Lord. Please show your mercy. Only your mercy can deliver me and not my effort or my sadhana and my reading and my hearing and my. But it is only your mercy that can. At the same time, endeavor is there from our side. So that is the right approach. Is yes, we are not qualified, and that should be an impetus for us to beg for Lord's mercy. That is what all our acharyas are doing. And it is said that when prayers go up, blessings comes down. And when we actually genuinely feel, not just for the sake of speaking and saying, but when we genuinely feel and we genuinely seek shelter, when we genuinely feel that Krishna, please show your mercy, otherwise I cannot survive. Unless your grace is there, I won't be able to survive either. Then mercy will come. Is it all right?
Yes, Prabhuji. So that really helps, Prabhuji. So there is nothing like at this stage you can hear these kind of lectures, something like that, correct? So
Yes, here everything about Bhagavatam is pure.
okay.
It is said it's like a mango. Anywhere you taste, it is sweet. Anywhere, 360 degrees. And here Bhagavatam, anything, hearing is no bad. Reading, Prabhupada did mention, read systematically. Hearing, whatever pure devotees are speaking, whenever they are speaking here, whatever they speak, hear attentively.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Anything
Krishna.
else? Srinivas Prabhu, you had something?
No, Prabhuji, nothing, Prabhuji. I just want to say class was very nice.
Thank you, Prabhuji, for your encouragement. Thank you all very much. We will hear the prayers of Queen Kunti. Are we going very fast? Was it, or are we going very slow? Does anyone has any suggestions on that speed?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. No, Prabhuji seems to be at right space.
Okay. All right. Okay, thank you all very
Hare
much.
Krishna Prabhuji, Danvat Pranam. Prabhuji, your speed is very good. We want to like this way, Prabhuji. Understand and then clear the things and then, learn more and more about the Bhagavatam related story and Katha and then all the things, Prabhu. You did good job, Prabhuji. Sorry, Prabhuji. I say just like as a teacher, but Prabhuji, yeah, you are right. You are correct way to go, Prabhuji. That's what we want.
Thank you for encouragement. Thank you very much. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Ananta Koti Vaishnavindu ki jai. Srila Prabhupada. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you,
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna.
Hare
Dandavat
Krishna.
Pranam,
Thank
Prabhuji.
you,
Thank you,
Prabhuji. Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare
Krishna.
Krishna. Dandat
Thank you
Pranam.
very much. Dhanwad.
Dandat Pranam. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Dandat
Thank you,
Pranam.
Amol
Krishna
Prabhu. Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna.